sportsmaster.com.
It's a dogfight, man. This is gonna get crazy.
UFC, the world leader in MMA. Experience it on FS1.
Hello from Tampa. Fox UFC Fight Night has hit the west coast of Florida, where a host of former champions, title challengers, and burgeoning prospects hope to light one up in victory tomorrow night. And there are the men on the marquee, light heavyweight contenders Glover Teixeira and Rashad Evans. The Brazilian once went 20 straight matches without a loss. That culminated in a world title shot back in 2014. Also looking to make another run, Sugar Rashad Evans, the former light heavyweight champion, hoping to kick off his ascent back to contention here tomorrow night. And that's not all, folks. The strawweight set to run it back in the co-main event, but with elevated stakes this time around. Third-ranked Rose Namajunas looks to exact some revenge against number 4 Tecia Torres. The winner puts herself in prime position for a UFC title shot. The FS1 UFC Fight Night weigh-in show starts right now. Hi folks, welcome inside Ruth Eckerd Hall in Tampa, Florida. Tomorrow night they will fight. Today, of course, they weigh in. Thank you so much for beginning your fight weekend here with us, John Anik, alongside two of the best minds in the sport, the greatest living American, Brian Stann, and the UFC bantamweight champion of the world, Dominic Cruz. Heidi Androl will join us over the next hour as well. All right, Brian, tomorrow's main event, a matchup that was made once before. We're glad it's actually happening this weekend. Light heavyweight contenders, division staples, Glover Teixeira and Rashad Evans.
And Glover Teixeira has just been the model of consistency. Every single fight, when you watch it back on tape, he gets a little bit better. Very smooth boxing, powerful kicks, underrated wrestling game, and his top game is very punishing, whether he's submitting you or is utilizing ground and pound. This guy is a total athlete in every single area, and since 2014, he has fought 4 times, vice Rashad Evans only fighting once.
You got Rashad Evans, you can't ever sleep on this guy. I mean, he's a tough contestant winner. He's also highlight knockout artist with some of the best strikers in the UFC. He's out grappling some of the best grapplers in the UFC. And he's been around so long, he's got tons of experience. There's never a time that Rashad Evans is not in a fight. You can't ever count him out. And this fight against Glover Teixeira is something that you're not going to want to sleep on, especially the main event. These guys are coming for each other.
And you know, Rashad feels like he's got a lot of naysayers coming into this one. A lot of people that he wants to shut up. He could do just that by taking out the number 4 ranked guy in the world. All right, Dominic, co-main event, we will see Rose Namajunas and Tecia Torres once again. As many of you know by now, a potential USADA violation by Lyoto Machida nixed his co-main event bout with Dan Henderson. So in step the strawweights, Dom. Big fight here at 150.
Yeah, and these ladies will step up to the challenge without a problem. Namajunas is one of these ladies that just has laser focus. There's not very many women that focus and want to win as bad as her. Tecia Torres might be that lady, though. They have fought before. They both come from a Taekwondo, karate background. Great strikers. They can both grapple very well. Good defense and good offense on the ground. But both of them are willing to just stand and bang. And that's what's going to make it fun for the fans, is they love to go down.
Their first fight was exciting. Now these women are both better. I'm glad they got this spot. I think this is a fight between two contenders. The winner is going to challenge for that strawweight title eventually, so I'm excited for them.
All right, well, before we can get to the action tomorrow night, we have to get the inconvenient truth out of the way. The fighters set to make things official on the scale. For that, we send it down to the MC, Joe Rogan.
Applause for Vanessa, Brittany, and Chrissy, Joe Silva, Sean Shelby. Let's get it cracking, ladies and gentlemen. We got an excellent card, and we're going to kick it off in the welterweight division. Elizu Zaleski dos Santos versus Omari Akhmedov.
All right, Heidi Angel is joining us backstage. Heidi, tell us about the Russian Akhmedov.
There he is, Omari Akhmedov. He said that when he's not fighting, he loves to spend every free minute of his time with his son, Mohammed. They go to the kids club. Funny to imagine him going to the kids club. They watch a lot of cartoons together, and it just so happens that it's his baby boy's 4th birthday tomorrow, so he said that's extra motivation to get the win here in Tampa.
171 for Mr. Akhmedov. And his opponent, Elizu Zaleski dos Santos.
All right, Elizu is known for his capoeira. In fact, that's his nickname. Grew up working on a farm, and he has some very vicious power in his overhand right-left hook combination. And he's always thought to be a knockout threat. However, this past February was promoted to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt by his trainer, Cristiano Moralo, from CM System in Curitiba, Brazil. So this is a guy known for his power, but do not forget, he is a dual threat now, very dangerous on the ground.
170.5. 170.5.
You can see Akhmedov getting a little angry right now as he waits because he knows he's only 2 seconds away from getting a drink.
Live on UFC Fight Pass, ladies and gentlemen, first fight of the night. Elizu Zaleski dos Santos versus Omari Akhmedov. The next fight takes place in the middleweight division. Oluwale Bambushe versus Cesar Ferreira.
Cesar Ferreira is a crafty southpaw that comes from a capoeira background. He also has a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. Originally started under Vitor Belfort, was also on Tough Brazil #1. He was originally studying in college to be a physiologist and then ended up stopping in order to pursue his fight career. This is a guy that has a nasty guillotine at the same time. You do not want to get caught underneath the double. You don't want him on your head at all, right? And he's extremely strong gentleman, obviously.
185.5. 185.5 for Mr. Ferreira.
Toyed with actually dropping down to 170. I'm glad he settled on 185.
And his opponent, Oluwale Bambushe.
Oluwale Bambushe, he has been smart with his money. Every UFC paycheck put to a good cause. He first paid off his student loans. He has a master's in public administration. With his second paycheck, he went and bought a piece of land in Nigeria. And then with this one, he plans to build a community center on that land to help out the kids there and the young adults and bring MMA to that region of the world.
This guy's must-see TV, just about 8 weeks removed from his first UFC win in Pittsburgh against Daniel Sarafian, looking to take out a second straight Brazilian here tomorrow night.
183.5. 183.5.
Both of these gentlemen have some of the most powerful kicks on the card.
Bambushe, ladies and gentlemen. Next fight takes place in the welterweight division. Randy Brown versus Michael Graves.
Michael Graves initially got into wrestling back in high school and then MMA, and he said the one commonality that they have is the fact that they're one-on-one sports. He likes that. He likes that when you win, it's on you. When you lose, it's on you. He also told me that if he wasn't a UFC fighter, he'd probably be living back home in his grandmother's basement. Mary Jo Robinson, he wanted me to give you a shout-out back in Ohio. He said she's probably pretty glad that this whole UFC thing worked out as well.
170.5. 170.5 for Mr. Graves. And his opponent, Randy Brown.
Randy Brown had to deal with a lot of hype. Being found on Dana White's personal show looking for a fight comes with a lot of things with it, where fighters may be jealous of you. Fighters are going to look at you differently because you didn't make it to the UFC the way they did. But Randy Brown's a guy, when you evaluate on the tape, he's actually a very good find. Excellent prospect, massive for the welterweight division, and looked very good in his debut fight against Matt Dwyer, who's a tricky guy to open up with when you only have 7 fights to your name. So I think there's big things in store for Randy Brown in the future of his UFC career.
You hear Joe Silva talk so much about UFC jitters and nerves, and you mentioned some of the pressure that was heaped upon Randy Brown. That was a great performance. We'll see what he can produce for an encore in his second UFC appearance coming up here tomorrow in Tampa.
171. 171 from Mr. Brown. Michael Graves and Randy Brown, ladies and gentlemen.
Interesting stare down there.
The next fight takes place in the bantamweight division. John the Magician Dodson versus Manful the Anvil Gambarian.
So 1 month shy of his 35th birthday, here is the popular veteran Manful the Anvil Gambarian, set to make his 14th UFC appearance overall, but some would argue his current form right now just might be the best of a pro career that dates to 1999. But all of that said, if he does want to stay undefeated as a bantamweight, he'll have to come through as a plus 400 underdog tomorrow night against John Dodson.
$136 for the Anvil.
He's in great shape, John.
And his opponent, John Dodson.
John Dodson, very well known for his charismatic manners all the time. Funny story, he was a birthday host at Chuck E. Cheese in high school when a guy named Chris Luttrell invited him to come train at Greg Jackson's. He ended up going there, loved it, never stopped since. He was also a Tough 14 winner. Fought at 125 pounds for a stint, has now moved back up to 135 pounds, and here we are.
135. 135 for the Magician.
And he was actually also Chuck E. Cheese. Prior to fighting, he was Chucky.
I believe it.
Manful Gambarian and John Dodson, ladies and gentlemen, live on UFC Fight Pass. Next, we move to the Fox prelims. We kick things off in the lightweight division. Drew Dober versus Islam Makhachev.
Makhachev is part of the Team American Kickboxing Academy with Khabib Nurmagomedov, Daniel Cormier. However, he's also part of Team KHK out of Bahrain, where a sheikh opened up a gym that's unlike any other we've seen in mixed martial arts, where they have paid a lot of money to bring in world-class coaches, fighters, talent, doctors from around the world to put MMA in Bahrain on the map. So these guys are getting world-class service, 360 degrees for mixed martial arts there.
156.5. 156.5 for Mr. Makhachev.
Well, that is a miss, I believe, by half a pound.
And his opponent, Drew Dober.
Yeah, Joe Silva sorting things out. Before we get to Drew Dober, Makhachev will have to invoke the towel here and see if those boxer shorts weigh a half a pound.
I have consistently seen these shorts weigh a pound, so my money is on that he makes it.
Still 156.5.
Still a half a pound over.
And I would lose that bet.
He still has a chance to lose it, though.
He has 1 hour to lose a half a pound.
Or
he hasn't missed yet.
He hasn't 20% of his purse.
And in an hour, you can
and
get rid
his
of
opponent, Drew Dober.
Well, here we are with Drew Dober. He had a stint in community college in pursuit of a business degree, but decided to fight full time. Similar to a ton of fighters, by the way. Has an extensive amateur record, though, in Muay Thai and other MMA organizations, which gives him a ton of experience. The other thing is, he's a crafty southpaw as well. Southpaws change things up a lot, so let's see how the weight goes.
Stay still. 156.
156 for Mr. Dober. Makachev and Drew Dober, ladies and gentlemen. Next, we move to the welterweight division. Court McGee versus Santiago Ponzinibbio.
Santiago Ponzinibbio says that having his former boxing coach Kelson Pito here in the United States with him to help with his preparation at American Top Team over the past couple of months is going to be the biggest difference for him in this fight. When he came to America, Kelson was working in Brazil. He wasn't able to come up here. So he really believes that having him in his corner, having him as part of his training camp is going to make a huge difference in his game here this weekend.
Ponzinibbio, very much an all-action fighter, and everybody to a man at American Top Team just raves about this guy's work ethic. We know the skills are there. Season 2 of The Ultimate Fighter in Brazil, he was the favorite going in, and injury forced him out of the final. Still trying to get on track and make a run here in the UFC, but no denying how much time he puts in. Interesting spot for him against the durable Court McGee here tomorrow.
171.
171 for Mr. Ponzinibbio. And his opponent, Court the Crusher McGee.
This fight marks a very special anniversary for Court McGee. 10 years of sobriety. Court McGee had a near-death experience due to narcotics. He turned his life around, and on behalf of all the fighters, the entire UFC family, the entire Fox family, we all want to congratulate Court McGee. He is an absolute privilege and honor to be around one of the nicest men on the entire UFC roster, folks.
170.5.
170.5 for Mr. McGee.
A highly sought-after speaker nationwide for his experiences. He goes around the country sharing those with children across the country.
Santiago Ponzinibbio and Court McGee, ladies and gentlemen. Next fight takes place in the women's bantamweight division. Betsy O'Hare versus Raquel Pennington.
Raquel Pennington said she once got benched in a basketball game because she played so bad, and that was because her mom was not there. Her mother is her best friend. She travels with her. In fact, she actually rooms with her mom on fight week. Her mom runs her weight cut. Her mother is a cosmetologist, and so she also helps her out with those girly things like painting her nails before a big fight.
135.5.
135.5 for Raquel Pennington. And her opponent, Betsy O'Hare.
Stand and cheer, folks. Here she is, the recent world title challenger, Betsy O'Hare, returning here for the first time since her title shot against Ronda Rousey. That was last August at UFC 190. Took the loss very hard. She felt like the media made her out to be the villain, even in her home country of Brazil. Now she's in the U.S., training out of the American Kickboxing Academy. We'll see what type of improvements the cerebral Betsy O'Hare has made as she looks to kickstart another run of contention.
136.
136 for Betsy O'Hare. Raquel Pennington and Betsy O'Hare, ladies and gentlemen. Next fight takes place in the lightweight division. Beneil Dariush and Michael Chiesa.
Michael Chiesa watched his first UFC fight in 7th grade and knew he was going to fight for a living. Here he is now doing it. 5 first-round finishes with 9 submission victories. He loves to scramble and make it a messy fight, and he does every single time.
156.
156 for Mr. Chiesa.
I also was with him on Tough, the Ultimate Fighter, Tough 15. Very awesome guy.
Dariush.
So Beneil Dariush has got a real problem on his hands. Here he is, a number 7th ranked guy, and he wants top 5 contenders. However, he's publicly stated he won't fight the champion. He and Rafael dos Anjos are teammates. They will not fight one another. So if he beats a top-ranked contender, what does the promotion do with him? So he's got to make some tough decisions going forward. And Rafael dos Anjos doesn't look like he's losing anytime soon.
156.
156 for Mr. Dariush. Outstanding lightweight fight, ladies and gentlemen. Michael Chiesa and Beneil Dariush.
How does Chiesa make 155 pounds?
He is enormous.
On Fox, we kick things off in the featherweight division. Cub Swanson versus Hakran Diaz.
Hakran Diaz trains alongside former champion Renan Barão and former champion Jose Aldo at Novo União. Extremely good jiu-jitsu game. Started fighting in 2005 as a pro. He's been in this game a very long time. Before he started fighting, he was actually a lifeguard. Now, he's almost in there trying to take life. It's pretty ironic how that works out. Also, the Shooto South American champion. This guy has been around forever, winning.
$145.5.
145.5 for Mr. Diaz. And his opponent, Cub Swanson.
A lot of people out there doubting Cub Swanson. Can he return from his broken jaw that he sustained in his last fight against Max Holloway? Well, this guy's been overcoming injuries his entire career. 9 times he's broken his hand. He's broken his orbital bone against Jose Aldo and broke the left side of his face in a training accident once when I was actually training with him in the gym that day.
145 for Mr. Swanson.
Got that Killer Cup logo now tattooed on the inside of his right arm.
Kid's been overcoming adversity his entire life. Should be a real fun fight there.
Ladies and gentlemen. Next fight takes place at a catch weight of 160 pounds. Khabib Nurmagomedov versus Darrell Horcher.
Darrell the Saint Horcher started training about 7 years ago, and he said he just absolutely fell in love with the sport. Now, he stepped up and took this fight on short notice. Not a lot of guys would do that. He's a 6-1 underdog coming in, but a win would be absolutely huge for him, potentially propelling him into the top 15. He said he's been overwhelmed with the welcome he's gotten here in Tampa.
162.
162.
He looks anything but overwhelmed right now.
He has to lose 1 pound.
Oh.
And his opponent, Khabib Nurmagomedov.
They call him the Eagle. He started training under his father's tutelage in 2008. Started in combat sambo. Since then, he's a 2-time Russian combat sambo champion, 2-time world sambo combat champion. He mixes that with freestyle wrestling and his combat sambo control with submissions. Extremely hard to grapple, this man. Great power in his hands. He's been doing this a long time, has finished 10 of his last 14 fights. Definitely looking to bring it in this comeback after some injuries that he's dealt with himself, but here he is.
160.5.
160.5 for the Eagle.
Darrell Horcher missed weight, but folks, please remember, 9 days notice he's coming in. He's got 2 more pounds, it seems, to lose. He'll have an hour to do that. Unlikely that he's probably going to lose that weight. He'll have to forfeit a portion of his purse, but no chance Nurmagomedov turns this fight down. Nurmagomedov's here to fight.
Horcher and Khabib Nurmagomedov.
And I believe Horcher would only be cutting 1 pound down to 161 with the pound.
You're correct, yeah.
Next fight takes place in the women's strawweight division. Rose Namajunas versus Teixeira Torres.
Teixeira Torres is getting her graduate degree in criminal justice with hopes of one day working for the federal government. Now, while most have been focused on cutting weight this week, Torres has been writing essays. Yeah, that's right, you heard me right. In fact, she actually had 2 papers due today. She said that her professors have been extremely supportive. They wished her good luck, and they are even throwing her a watch party to support her here this weekend.
116.
116 for the Tiny Tornado.
Thug Rose Namajunas is one of the most likable people on the UFC roster. In fact, when Joanna Jędrzejczyk, the strawweight female champion, was in town in Denver, Rose reached out to her and said, hey, we're going to fight eventually. We might as well get to know one another. How about we meet for coffee? There are not many women out there that fight at that weight class reaching out to Joanna champion asking to have coffee, that's for sure.
115.5 for Thug Rose.
Their first fight was a blast. I believe the second one's only going to be better.
Rose Namajunas, ladies and gentlemen. Let's take a closer look at the two men involved in the main event of the evening.
I'm from the era where I never knew who I was going to fight. Come one, come all, I want to be number one, and eventually I have to fight them all anyway, so it doesn't matter which way they line up.
I'm looking forward to the future, and whatever happened was experience. I'm just looking to put that gold in my waist, and that's it.
Rashad Evans versus Glover Teixeira really could be a crossroads fight. For Glover Teixeira, it's imperative at this stage of his career that he continue winning. He's got absolutely ruthless ground and pound, brutal power in both hands. Glover's got it all. He's the full package.
My job is to fight and to prove that I'm ready. Give me a call and I fight.
Glover Teixeira by submission. For Rashad Evans, Rashad is the former UFC light heavyweight champion. He is an excellent fighter. He's in fantastic shape, and he's with one of the best camps in the world with the Blackzilians.
I think that he accepted a fight so fast because he believes that I'm finished. He believes that I'm washed up. He believes that my best days are behind me. And that's where he made a mistake. Sugar Rashad Evans is back on the scene.
An impressive performance. He really does look new and improved, Mike.
This is a very, very dangerous fight for him. He knows that. He knows that he's stepping in there against Glover Teixeira, a guy who is one of the most complete fighters in the UFC's 205-pound division, period.
This fight with Rashad is important to keep myself busy and to climb the ladder.
Styles definitely make fights, and Glover's brute force and finesse. Brute force versus finesse.
He's a good fighter, but I just think I'm better all around.
It is all over!
I'm his worst nightmare right now.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen, the main event of the evening. Introducing the former UFC light heavyweight champion of the world, Sugar Rashad Evans.
I'm training one day, 3 rounds into my workout, and in walks Rashad Evans, who had just had some nose surgery done. So he threw a riot gear helmet on, came in to give me my last 3 rounds, thinking, hey, I want to be there for B-Stan and give him some work in this camp. Going through my mind is, no, Rashad, your nose isn't ready. Please don't come in here and give me any rounds. He put a beating on me the entire time, breathing like Darth Vader. My worst nightmare, but that's who Rashad Evans is. He was one of my first coaches, truly, when I started my career.
205 for Mr. Evans. And his opponent, Glover Teixeira.
Glover Teixeira has been fighting a long time. He had his first fight in 2002, back when I was in high school. Has a notable win over former champion Rico Rodriguez. That's something he's very proud of. Before fighting, he worked on the farms of Brazil and was also a lumberjack. He is built like a lumberjack. This guy swings hard, and watch out for that left hook like it's an axe. He also used to train with former champion Chuck Liddell. That's somebody that he looks up to very much, and maybe he got some of that punching power from him.
Stay still. Stay still. 205!
205 for Mr. Teixeira! The main event of the evening, ladies and gentlemen, Sugar Rashad Evans Glover Teixeira. We will see you all tomorrow night live on Fox.
All right, so that'll do it from the scale. We welcome you back high above the stage to our broadcast position. Brian Stan, Dominic Cruz on hand.
A dogfight, man. This is gonna get crazy.
May 29th, two undefeated UFC warriors go head-to-head as 21-0 striker Thomas Almeida takes on fellow knockout artist Cody No Love Garbrandt. Plus, former bantamweight champion Renan Barão moves up to face Jeremy Stephens in a featherweight showdown. Live in Las Vegas this Memorial Day weekend. UFC Fight Night. Almeida versus Garbrandt from Mandalay Bay. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com.
What's your problem? Bored? Stop whining and watch a fight. Not just a fight. Pretty much every MMA fight worth watching. How? UFC Fight Pass. That's how. It's a digital streaming service with the world's largest fight library, original shows, and exclusive live events. That's thousands of fights being through your eyeballs and into your brain. Anywhere, anytime. Problem solved. UFC Fight Pass solves everything.